If you want money in your pocket and a top hat on your head, a hot meal on your table and a blanket on your bed, today's gray skies, tomorrow is tears. You'll have to wait till yesterday is here. I'm going to New York City. I'm leaving on a train. If you want to stay behind till I come back again, today's gray sky, tomorrow is tears. You'll have to wait till yesterday is here. If you wanna go where your rain goes up, you'll have to say goodbye. All of our dreams come true up ahead, and it's out where your memories lie. The road is out before me, the moon is shining bright. What I want you to remember as I disappear tonight, today's gray skies, tomorrow is tears. You'll have to wait till yesterday is here. You'll have to wait till yesterday is here. Welcome to show 72. Show 72. I remember 1972. Yep, I actually do. Ah, yes. As I recall, I moved into an apartment in Mineola, Long Island. There were no cell phones or pagers back then, so the fire department had a volunteer fire signal on top of the clock tower. It was incredibly loud. You could hear it for 10 miles. We lived on the block that it was on. They tested it every noon and every midnight. It played for a whole minute at noon and at midnight. You couldn't talk, you couldn't do anything, you couldn't hear anything. It was, I can't believe they did midnight. Okay, Trying to Live My Life Without You, a fabulous old soul song. And unfortunately, I can't remember who did it, who wrote it, and who sang it first, I should say. But I will find out. It's probably, I'll find out by next week, and I'll be working on the titles, so it's probably spooling under my face as I'm saying this. As I'm saying I don't know it, you're seeing it because I found out. I used to smoke 5 packs of cigarettes a day. It was the hardest thing to put them away. I drink 3-4 bottles of wine. I had a glass in my hand all the time. Breaking those habits was hard to do. Nothing compared to what you put me through. Trying to live my life without you is the hardest thing I'll ever do. Trying to forget the love we once shared is the hardest burden I'll ever bear. I had the worst reputation in town. from chasing all of the women around. After changing my way of living was hard to do, but the hardest habit to break was loving you. I've done most everything I tried to do, but it's gonna take a miracle to get over you. Trying to live my life without you is the hardest thing that I'll ever do. Trying to forget the love we once shared is the hardest burden I'll ever bear. The hardest thing I'll ever do. Trying to forget the love that we once shared is the hardest burden I'll ever bear. Well, I tried and I tried, but I can't do it, baby. I can't do it, baby. Ray Davies, another great Ray Davies song for you today. This Time Tomorrow, from Lola versus Power Man and the Money Go Round. That was an album that they put out. It was a gatefold album, but just the lyrics were on the inside. It's got Leonardo da Vinci drawings on it. They had some interesting packaging. Anyway, This Time Tomorrow is really good. It was used in the soundtrack of The Darjeeling Limited, which is a great movie, by the way. He's got good taste, this guy. The guy who did that. Anderson, is it? This time tomorrow, where will we be? On a spaceship somewhere, sailing across an empty sea. This time tomorrow, what will we know? Will we still be here, watching an in-flight movie show? Will I leave the sun behind me, and I watch the clouds as they sadly pass me by? 7 miles below me, I can see the world, and it ain't so big at all. Endless rows of crowded streets. I don't know where I'm going, and I don't want to see. I feel the world below looking up at me. Will I leave the sun behind me, and I'll watch the clouds as they sadly pass me by? And I'm in perpetual motion, and the world below doesn't matter much to me. This time I once saw a DJ clear the dance floor with Lola, not a dance song. He followed Psycho Killer with Lola. I don't know what he was thinking. Good song, something like that. They can't dance to it. Anyway, not after Psycho Killer. Cleared the floor. Cleared the floor like nothing I've seen before. Okay. I really wonder what it was like living at the turn of the other century. The 1890s, 1900, 1910. Of course, you could die from practically anything. There was no antibiotics. There were no antibiotics until the Second World War, when penicillin was first manufactured. And you could die from almost anything. You ever hear about the flu that came right after the First World War? 1918, 1919. It killed more people than the war killed. Killed people all over. 10,000 in New York City, I believe. The flu. I can't remember. They called it the something flu. It's not coming to mind. Wait, the Spanish flu? Maybe. Anyway, it's sad. It was sad. And of course, if I had gone back then, I might have suffered the diseases of my time, just as now I'm suffering the diseases of my time now. You get what you got. You get what they got. You got to get what they got when you're there. It's interesting, the conjunction IMHO, in my humble opinion, because you would think that if you were humble enough, it would be humble enough to say it was your opinion. You know, I will never use LOL. If I want to laugh out loud, I will. But to try and paint a picture of me laughing out loud by writing LOL, I can't see it. The youth will have to do that for me. I can't do it. I'm going to do a song by Elvis Costello. At the time this song came out, we didn't know his name was really Declan McManus. So it was on his second album, Hand in Hand. And that whole album is incredible. This year's model, one of the best rock and roll albums I can think of. I saw him play back then. Wow. First show he did in New York at the Bottom Line. Wow. He didn't take his hands off the guitar for an hour and a half. No cigarette, no drink, no how you doing tonight. Just song after song. It was amazing. I mean, everybody who saw the show knew he was better than anyone they'd seen lately. He was terrific, and he is terrific. But as far as those early rock and roll songs, I think they probably did them best back then. I saw a later show where he was more into the ballads, and he rushed through the rock and roll songs, played them too fast. It was kind of odd. Please don't ask me to apologize, and I won't ask you to forgive me. If I'm gonna go down, you are coming with me. You say, why don't you be a man about it, like they do in the grown-up movies. When it comes to the other way around, you say that you just want to use me. You sit and wonder whether you are gonna get syndicated. You sit with your knees together, but all the while your breath is bated. And in hand, please don't ask me to apologize, and I won't ask you to forgive me. If I'm gonna go down, days out, changing someone's facial design, sitting here with my toy room loud, polishing my precious china. Don't you know I'm an animal? Don't you know I can't stand up steady? You can't show me any kind of hell that I don't know already. Hand in hand, please don't ask me to apologize, and I won't ask you to forgive me. If I'm gonna go down, you are coming with me. Hand in hand, 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 hand in hand. Thank you, Elvis. Yes, we're halfway through May. The chipmunks are happy. They're out of hibernation. I give them peanuts. The squirrels would like to have the peanuts, and they chase the chipmunks away from wherever I throw a peanut. Then I throw a peanut where they chased the chipmunk to. The squirrels don't like that much either. The squirrels are frustrated. They snarl at each other. It's pretty funny down there. I do it from my window. I used to feed chipmunks close up, but then I realized I was defeating their natural defenses. It wasn't good, because once they thought people were friendly, I mean, I had one sitting on my doorstep waiting for me to come home, and there was a cat that lives next door, and I think he probably got him. You know, you don't want to get a chipmunk to be too predictable because the predators will notice. So I just feed them from the second story window, and that way all they know is that the peanuts come out of the window. They're safe, I'm safe, pretty safe anyway. I am sort of assembling them each morning, but at least they're in the woods and they're not walking up to people, and they're not sitting on my front step. Faye Adams, Shake a Hand, 1953, #1 on the R&B charts. I believe it was at least 8 weeks. It was #1, 1953. It was great. Joe Morris did it. He wrote it, conducted the orchestra, got the session together, taught her the song, sings harmony on the chorus, and he was really good, Joe Morris. Unfortunately, he died 5 years later in 1958 of a cerebral aneurysm at the age of 36. I feel bad about that. But it was a great song, and so was the follow-up, I'll Be True. Just leave it to me. Don't you ever be afraid. Just give me a chance, and I'll take care of everything. Your troubles I'll share. Let me know and I'll be there. I'll take care of you. Any place and anywhere. Shake a hand, shake a hand. Shake a hand, shake a hand. Shake a hand, shake a hand. call it a day. I said all I got to say, except don't forget to pray. Shake a hand every day. Shake a hand, shake a hand. Shake a hand, shake a hand. Shake a hand, shake a hand. Shake a hand if you can. Thank you. Thanks for watching the show. I appreciate it. I'd like to dedicate this show. I'd like to dedicate this show to Joe. Joe got in touch with me, and we may be even more in touch soon. Who knows? At any rate, this show is for you, Joe. Here's looking at you. Well, here's looking at a camera, actually. But I know you're out there, or will be whenever this is broadcast, or when you pick it up on the internet. Yes, all these shows are on YouTube. lcatv.org. Perhaps I will display this on the screen as I say this. lcatv.org. If you go to Messing Around, you will find a large file of my tunes. This will save you the embarrassment of going to YouTube, if that's embarrassing. I don't know. YouTube is kind of interesting. At times it's deplorable. At times it's magnificent. Just like most things, I guess. Coca-Cola is magnificent, but I haven't drunk one in years. Guess I'm off it. Used to drink it a lot. I have 2 bottles of Mexican Coca-Cola. Why does that mean something? I got them at the dollar store. Why? Because they're made with cane sugar instead of corn syrup. It's much better. Much, much, much better. Well, on that note, it's raining like crazy again outside. I hope it's sunny when you see the show. Well, actually, you might be driven away from the show if it's sunny enough. If it is sunny, go out there. I'm sure you can see my show later. Get out there and have some vitamin D. Have some sun. The sun is nice. Of course, if you're going to, don't fall asleep in the sun. It'll make you red. And it's painful. It's not so good. But enjoy the season. Enjoy the weather. May the mosquitoes not bite you much. Well, I guess it's going to stop any time now. It'll probably stop while I'm talking. I'll be talking like this. You know, if you saw last week's show, you know what happens. All of a sudden it stops. The screen goes black. And that's it. You know the show is over. I haven't let it go black and then come back to say something sneaky yet. I wonder if I'll ever do that. You remember the records? They used to have records that faded out and then faded back in. There were a couple of records like that. I'm trying to think of one that did that. I can almost think of it. Let's see, what was that song? I can't remember. Thank you so much for watching episode 72, or as I like to call it, show number 72. I don't know what else you could call it. You could call it May 15th, 2012. Let's have a little sobriety around here. Yes, he packs up and goes. Can you believe this, folks? It's still rolling. We thought it would be done 5 minutes ago. That just shows how much we know